Imagine being in the prime of your life, the peak of your career, holding one of the top financial jobs in the country. And then comes the diagnosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. That's what happened to Tim Noel, the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada. While Sue Rodriguez became famous for the struggle to end her life in the final stages of ALS, Tim Noel is fighting this fatal disease in a different way. Here is his story.
My name is Tim Noel. I'm a Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada. As Deputy Governor, I'm a member of the Governing Council. I know this institution quite well, and I have spent almost 35 years here at the bank, the last 6 as Deputy Governor. The bank's main responsibility is for monetary policy. It tries to keep the rate of inflation inside the inflation control target of 1 to 3%. And then swing it back over here.
Operator City Finance.
8174, please.
Okay. Patrick Bruce.
Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Tim.
Patrick, can you tell me what's going on this morning? How was the reaction to maintaining the bank rate unchanged?
As far as I can tell, Tim, there's very little reaction, as a matter of fact. I mean, the dollar trading at now 64.79.
My form of ALS does not, at least initially, affect the head and the voice. So since I can still communicate, I can still do my job. Well, yeah, I was diagnosed late in the evening, actually, after work, and I was expecting something. But I certainly wasn't expecting the worst. Not only that, but I didn't know a whole lot about what ALS was at the time. Nobody had told me. I had gone through numerous tests to try to find out what was going on. And in fact, I ended up stopping off at Chapters and reading up on ALS to find out how bad the disease really was. So it was quite a shock. And scroll up, please. That was a Thursday night, and I had regular meetings in Basel, Switzerland for central bankers, and I was to leave on Saturday night, and I decided that I was going to go anyway, and I'd use the time in the plane there and back to sort of figure out what this meant and the implications and all of that. I quickly decided that, well, there was nothing much I could do about it. I better try to make the most of it, and one of the things I decided very early is that I wanted to continue to work. Right. Has anything happened to short-term interest rates?
I beg your pardon?
Short-term interest rates, anything happening there?
No.
Not being able to take notes has made a difference in the sense that I do now have to retain a lot more in my mind. But on the other hand, I have a lot more time on my hands to do that. It's a self-adjustment that works quite well. But yes, all my stuff is basically in my head now. As long as you can talk and your mind is okay, you can live a reasonably normal life. There's no reason for people to feel sorry for you. I mean, that's certainly not what I aim to do. I aim to be an equal contributor in the Governing Council, and I certainly don't look for pity, that's for sure.
ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is a neuromuscular disease that is fatal. From the date of diagnosis to the date of death, an individual usually has about 3 to 5 years to live. With ALS, limbs paralyze, usually a bit at a time. ALS affects the body by gradually breaking away the nerve cells that run laterally away from the spine. It reduces the muscle tissue. And eventually there's a wastage that takes place in the arms, in the legs, the throat.
Thank you. Oh. I can't tell you what oh, man, the pressure on your butt is just Continue, and if you stay in the chair as long as I do, despite what all this good man Don can do for me. Okay, Don, I'll take those.
Essentially what happens is that an individual will begin to naturally lose the muscles in the, around the chest and in the back, thereby impairing the individual's ability to breathe.
I guess, as you told me before I was sick, that within a year I'd be in a wheelchair and I wouldn't be able to breathe, I probably would have said I'd prefer to be dead, but it's amazing how well you adjust to all the different stages. I just accept what's been given to me, and I try to deal with it as best I can, and my philosophy is to try to focus on the present. Holy jeez, in my shorts. It's not my best picture, but okay, well, what the hell. I was in a wheelchair within, I guess, a month of being diagnosed. I lost the use of my hands towards the end of December of that same year. It was March when I was diagnosed. And breathing left, I guess, February or something like that, March. And it progresses more or less rapidly depending on the individual. And they don't understand why. They don't understand where the disease comes from. And of course, there's no cure.
The night he's actually got to go onto the ventilator because of the fact that it's got alarms. So if anything went wrong with during the night, that would alarm and get up and find out what's wrong.
Thank you.
You hear the alarm every time there if he skips a breath or whatever, and it's just basically a warning.
From the date of diagnosis to the time the individual passes away, the average cost per person is about $125,000 in equipment alone. The healthcare cost over that same period of time can be 10 times that much. So you're looking at over $1 million.
Don runs his own healthcare company, and he's the best in the business. He's been taking care of me every night, holidays, weekends, since we started about a year ago. He's unbelievable. He's become a good friend.
A lot of it is just basically so that you know, he's able to keep on moving, and the circulation is dropped, so it's really important to have the circulation. So, I mean, the exercise has really done more for circulation rather than like muscle tone or anything, because muscle's lost.
Oh, it gives me tremendous relief. I mean, when I get back from the office, often if it's been uncomfortable in the chair, Don revives me. I mean, when I come up from my bath later on, I'm just a new person. I'm normally not in any pain, just in a lack of comfort, as I can't move any of my limbs. The only pain I get is a couple of times, 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending. I feel very uncomfortable, and the chair is very painful. It's very painful on my seat. Can I get some water, Christine, for me, please? I'm lucky. I've got this kind of support. A lot of people don't. And the only support that the Ontario government provides for people with ALS is a maximum of 40 hours a week. And that is just not enough. I was talking to Derek today, and told him I have Christine, my daughter, and her husband, John, who basically live with me most of the time. Christine and John get relieved a couple of days a week by friends from the golf course and other family members.
Over time, it has an incredible impact and tends to bankrupt the family and the individual from a point of view of emotion, from the point of view of physical disability, and from the point of view of finances. So those areas continue to live long after the individual has passed away.
The Tim Noel Foundation has raised close to $800,000. The unspoken challenge that he put out for all of us was, don't feel sorry for me, help me to help others. And we all sort of galvanized around him, around the disease, around research, and said, here's an opportunity for all of us to help. So then you didn't get focused on just feeling sorry for someone. You got focused on how can we help more people in the future.
Tim Noel has done more to raise the profile of ALS in the last year and a half or so. The fact that he's known the investment community and worked with the investment community for more than 30 years, both nationally and internationally, has brought a very subtle awakening of what this disease is all about. His work is his passion, and it's only with passion that you bring about any kind of change in the world. And Tim is certainly a hero in that sense.
Having the disease, and I try to deal with it as best I can, and my philosophy is to try to focus on the present. Today's a gift, that's why it's called the present, and you can't let the thieves of yesterday or tomorrow rob you of that gift. And that basically sums up my philosophy.